The second page of this homework asks you to generate the nth term of two sequences where the nth term is in brackets. So, we'll first of all ask for the first four terms of this sequence here. Now, remember n refers to the step we are in the sequence, so the first term, n equals 1. So let's substitute that into the nth term, the rule for the sequence. That's going to be 6 brackets, 1 add 5. Well, that means 6 times 6, which is 36. So my first term is 36. My second term, that's where n is 2. So I'm going to do 6 times 2 add 5, which is going to be 6 times 7, 42. My third term means n equals 3, so I'll write the correct end of n. So we've got 6 times 3 add 5, 6 times 8, and the answer is 48. And let's be honest, you've probably spotted the pattern, but if you haven't, never mind, let's have a look. N equals 4, 6 times 4 add 5, that's going to be 6 times 9, which is 54. The pattern is that we're adding 6 each time. These numbers are all multiples of 6. What is the 40th term? Okay, so in order to do that, we need to think about what n is. What is n? Well, n here is 40. So we're going to do this using 40 as our n. 6 times 40 plus 5. That means we're going to do 6 times 45. And if we do 6 times 45, that's 270. If you've got a calculation like that and you don't have a calculator, the best thing to do is break it down into stages. 6 is even, so think about 2 times 45, that's 90, and then this is two threes, so do 3 90s, which is 270. This is the part where we first start having to really use our noggin. What is the first term to be larger than £100? 100 pounds? Larger than 100. So we think about here, we don't know what our n is now, so we're going to have to use the n version, which is 6 brackets, n plus 5. But we know that that's got to be bigger than 100. Okay, so this is an inequality. We know that this has got to be bigger than 100 because the larger end of the inequality is next to this number. In primary school you would have been told the crocodile eats a bigger number. The only problem with that is it's not a crocodile. This is an inequality symbol, not a crocodile. So, what we're going to do is balance this inequality, keep it balanced all the time, otherwise it might stop being true, by doing the same thing to both sides of the inequality. I'm sorry, it keeps unfocusing and refocusing, it's very irritating. First thing we're going to do is we're going to expand the bracket because things always look nice when they're expanded. 6n plus 30 is greater than 100. Okay, so what can we do to balance this inequality and simplify it down? We can get rid of plus 30 because that would leave us with just 6n, wouldn't it? If we're getting rid of plus 30, positive 30 I should say, we need to balance by removing positive 30 or removing 30 from the right hand side as well. 6n is greater than 70. I don't want 6 n's though, I only want 1 n. I want to know when n is. This means 6 times n, so effectively I'm dividing by 6 here, which means I need to divide my right hand side by 6 as well. I am going to use a calculator for this. I'm going to do 70, oh, it's turned off, 70 divided by 6, which gives me an answer of 35 thirds. Although that is very useful, I'm going to change it into a decimal, which is 11.6 recurring. And that tells me that my n, the number in my sequence, is greater than 11.6. Now, we don't have decimals for numbers in sequence. We have the first number, the second number, the third number. We do not have the 11.6th number. So this is either going to be the 11th number or the 12th number. Because it's got to be bigger than 11.6, it's going to be the 12th term. The next sequence, we're going to use exactly the same idea. So n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, n equals 4. So I'm going to do n equals 1. That means I'm doing 1 times 1 take away 1, which is 1 times 0. This one, n equals 2. 2 times 2 take away 1, that's 2 times 1, which is 2. I'm then going to do 3 times 3 take away 1. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm timesing each number, multiplying each number by the number below it. N equals 4. 4 multiplied by the number below it is 12. Excellent. What is the 10th number? Now, if we're looking at the 10th number, then n equals 10. So I'm going to multiply 10 by the number below it. 10 times 9 is 90. Is 57 a term in this sequence? Well, let's think about the numbers in my sequence. I've got 1 times nothing, 2 times 1, 3 times 2, 4 times 3. Is 57 something times the number below it? We'll carry on through. 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 5 is 30, 7 times 6 is 42, 8 times 7 is 56, and then the next one is 9 times 8, which is 72. So is 57 a term in this sequence? No, because it does not fit the pattern. Which term is 240? Now this is where we start to get a little more complicated than we are used to. For this we need to use something called quadratic equations. So first of all, I'm going to write out the nth term, n brackets, n take 1, equals, because it says what term is 240, so it wants to be equal to 240. I'm going to expand the brackets, and this is an interesting thing we do for quadratics, is we always make it equal 0. So I'm going to make it equal 0, I need to remove 240, which gives me this. Now, I'm going to factorise this expression into 2 brackets, because it's a quadratic. Both of my brackets are going to start with n, because I'm going to make n squared. And the numbers in my brackets need to multiply to make 240, and they need to have a difference of 1. So when I think about the number 240, I can make it by doing 1 240, 2 and 120, 3 and 80, 4 and 60, 5 and 48, 6 and 80. None of those are close enough. Let's get a bit closer. So I could do 12 and 20, close. I could do 15 and 16. That's it, bingo, we've got it. 15 and 16. So it's n and 15, n and 16. And when we put them together, they make minus n, which means it's going to be 15 take away 16 to give us our minus 1 or our minus n. So our 15 is positive and our 16 is negative. Now, when I look at this, it's either my 15th number or my 16th number, but it's not going to be my 15th number, because if n plus 15 is 0, n equals negative 15. If n take away 16 equals 0, then n equals positive 16. We can't have a negative term in a sequence, therefore my n must be 16, 16th term. We've not done that in class before, if you're one of my year 9s watching this during lockdown, so apologies, but there you go, we've had a look at it and hopefully that's been helpful. Don't worry if you didn't understand that last bit, we will be going through that at some point soon, and if you're someone else, completely disregard what I've just said.